You are now listening to the DZN Podcast. Welcome back to the motherfucking DZN Podcast. Let's make some noise. Yes, yes, yes. Now, if you have not been here before, just remember we are the realest podcast on the motherfucking planet, which means we talk about whatever we feel like it, but what we mainly talk about is music, sports, life, and anything else we want to talk about. You know? So this is the DZN Podcast. I'm your host today, Dre, and let's get to the motherfucking music. Let's go. DZN Podcast for another episode that you listening to. DZN Podcast for another episode that you about to listen to. Gonna talk about being the greatest to get what you want and do just whatever you want. You gotta get the knowledge, put it in your mind, and then go to the level that is oh man. It's the DZN Podcast. It's the DZN Podcast. It's the DZN Podcast. It's the DZN Podcast. We're going to talk about a lot to do for you, for anybody else that could listen to the DZN Podcast. The DZN Podcast. Shout out to my loud ass neighbors. Shout out to everybody posting on social media. Shout out to people that's passing on real knowledge to get through the media. It's the DZN Podcast. It's your DZN Podcast. Everybody listen to the podcast, but whoever listen to what's new, what's good. It's the DZN Podcast. Retro Dre on the mic at DZN Podcast. We gon' talk about a lot today. Conversation going from this way to that way. Talk about one subject, goes to the next and to another one subtext. And now we about to be quiet until the next time you listen to the DZN Podcast. Retro Dre coming back to DZN Podcast. It's the DZN Podcast. Retro Dre on the mic of DZN Podcast. Dre, Zoe, and Nas. DZN Podcast coming in your mind. Through the ears you listening to. From the voices of 1, 2, and 3 on episodes that you already knew. Gonna talk about it. Gonna talk about it. All the people talking about that woke shit. They ain't really woke, that's not it. It's another level above that. It's another one above that. It's a lot more deeper than you think about, but it's really simple right there in front of you. Just gotta open your eyes. 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 All right, let's make some noise. Yeah. All right. Now, the purpose of this episode today is sponsored by us, motherfucker. Yeah, DZN Podcast. We sponsor our own shit because we make our own bread and we do what we got to do to get what we need, man. And that's going to be the point of this episode, to get what you want out of life. You're going to have help at some point, yes, but you're going to have to do it your goddamn self, man. As they say, faith without works is dead, right? So even though you may be praying every day, you still got to put in that work, man. Still got to put in the work. And people talking about, oh, we want to get this law passed, that law passed, and that law. Look, they're going to try to pass the laws that they ain't going to do nothing else. They just going to do it to quiet you, and that's it. So if you really want that change, you got to do it yourself in your own house. You got to make sure you're raising kids with the right people. You got to make sure you're picking the right career that you want. You got to make sure you have the right job you want. And you got to make sure you're doing everything in your power to do to get where you are to the next level. That's basically it, man. I mean, it's simple, but it ain't easy. So, but everybody got a different journey in life. Everybody got a different path they got to go on to get what they really want to be. Yeah, I get it. Of course. Yeah, yeah. But in these times, man, we sitting down and thinking about what we really trying to accomplish and what this is really about. And everybody ain't going to be the one that's going to be like, yo, you need to go to this place and that place to get all the knowledge you need, brother. Or you need to go be with this Christian church, or you need to go with these other societies or whatever. Man, look, listen, that's cool for whoever needs it. But for the majority who are just trying to find out what's going on right now, just do you. What I mean by just do you is figure out who you are, figure out what you're trying to do with the knowledge of who you are and what you're trying to do, and just listen to yourself, talk to yourself, have some moments of peace and quiet where you really get to know yourself. And after that, just take that and run with it. And obviously in these times it's kind of hard to create because everything messed up right now. Everything is everybody and everything is messed up right now. So it's gonna be a little difficult or a lot difficult to create and do certain things in these times. I get it. But when you get yourself together and when next year comes around, when all this isn't gonna be so crazy, you take the knowledge you gain from this and run with it. And that's a fact. Now, the people that are protesting, I know you got people on your left and people on your right that are walking with you. And instead of protesting, y'all could like plan to try to start a business if y'all want to. Or y'all could actually look to each other and try to start an actual group for yourselves and create your own outlet and own way of income instead of having to worry about somebody else giving you opportunity. Just create one for yourself. Just do it for yourself. That's how we're really gonna get. We gotta do it for ourselves because ain't nobody gonna help us. Ain't no group, ain't no organization gonna help us except us. So do with this information that you may. And just remember, to get what you want, you have to do it yourself. And of course you're gonna have help along the way, but the majority of that time you gotta do it yourself. Is it gonna be easy? No. But is it a simple way to do it? Yes. But it's not easy because life is never easy, as we know by now already. And everything isn't what it seems in life. So, yeah, that's all you gotta do. Do it yourself. That may take external resources and such, but we got the internet. Everything you need to know and want to find out is on the internet. It may take you a while to search for it because certain keywords may not pop up because, certain people may be trying to block it out, but it's a way to find it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Do what you may with this information, whoever may come across it. And I will say this, I do not have all the answers. Will I ever have all the answers? I don't think so. But I'm just offering suggestions to do what you can with the best of your ability. Because that's what I'm doing. This is my platform, our platform, DZN Podcast, where I invite people to talk and me and my crew talks when we get together and we have our outlet to talk about what we want to talk about and put what we want to put on the surface because that's what we want to do. Because we know our conversations, what we had amongst each other wasn't like what anybody else was talking about in our age group. So we said, yo, we're going to start DZN Podcast. And that's what we did. And we 43, 44 episodes in. So yeah, it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but once we figured it out, we figured it out. We started grinding and started figuring out just doing things on our own right and getting money to help get the equipment we needed to continue the show and continue doing it ourselves and just going from house to house whenever we can do an episode just to let people get on the show since we didn't have a studio. And the times we did have a studio, we made sure we had guests about every week that we could. And yeah, that's how we do it. And we're going to keep doing it like that until we want to stop, which maybe never. So, yeah. All right, man. My name is Dre. This is the DZN Podcast. And if you want to listen to more of this and of us, like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars on all podcasting platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you get podcasts at. And if you want to listen to more of us on social media, you can follow d.z.n.podcast on Instagram, DZN Podcast on Twitter, DZN Podcast on Facebook, and DZN Podcast Network on YouTube. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on social media at RETROD.R.E on Instagram, RetroDre_ on Twitter, and you can follow Zoe at Young_Pluto08 and Nas at NV.Z_. And this is the DZN Podcast. You are now listening to or finished listening to the DZN Podcast. My name is Dre. And to get what you want, you got to do it yourself. Peace.